just ask your thoughts on the team selection?
Well, it's pretty similar, isn't it? Which is a good thing, which means we're healthy enough, you know, so bit of continuity in being together for 12 days before the first game, and then a few sore bodies after the game, like it always is, first game up in the Six Nations, but that continuity gives us a nice balance to go forward with this week.
There was a question mark about Conor Murray's participation. Can you tell us about his situation and if you think he's going to be okay to start?
Oh, he's good. He's good to go, yeah, in good spirits, and yeah, for personal reasons, I'd like to keep that as it is.
And just in terms of the game itself, you talk a lot about the atmosphere here, being at home and the crowd, and for such a crucial game. How important is that the atmosphere is right, that the crowd is up for the game on Saturday?
Well, yeah, they're definitely going to be up for it, aren't they? Everyone's looking forward to this. I mean, we've had half a day off today. I've been walking around Sandymount there, and everyone's pumped in Sandymount. So it's, you know, I wish I was going to the game, walking down to the game with my mates or with family, you know, with the kids, because this is the type of game that everyone wants to be part of, you know. And yeah, home advantage has to be a weapon for us, doesn't it? I think we've all got a responsibility for that.
Andy, how much does the blow of Dan Sheehan disrupt things for you as a coach and for the whole coaching team tactically?
Disrupt? It's not nice for Dan. Obviously, he's a fantastic player at the top of his form, isn't he? You know, and so anyone, I suppose, would miss a player in that type of form of what Dan's in at this moment in time. But at the same time, I sound like a broken record at this moment in time. You know, he's great. He's great in the sense that this is exactly what's going to happen down the track in the World Cup. You know, international rugby is only going to get bigger and better, and so therefore it's always going to be about the squad. When you get to the World Cup, you've a smaller squad. You know, there's a 12-day turnaround there, as far as, and rightly so, as far as concussions concerned, HIAs, etc. So you're always going to be numbers down, and you've got to be able to roll with the punches as far as that's concerned. So we're happy with how our squad is developing, pushing each other, competing against each other, and Rob has been always added to our performance. Let's put it that way, you know. So I also think that he can do a good job in this type of game for us as well.
And for the other injury blows, is there anyone that was close? I know Farrell was he nearly there? I know he had a calf issue and he was out on the pitch the last day. Was he close to maybe playing this weekend?
No.
Anyone else that was close?
Jordan has progressed really well and done most of the training this week as well.
And just for you personally, facing France, since you came in, you faced them 3 times, 3 losses. How much personally would you like to get a victory over the French?
Me, I love the way that the French play, so I have nothing personal against the French, you know. But it's another big game, isn't it? It's another big game that we're playing at home, and you know, there's extra spice out there because of what everyone knows. You know, 2 good teams going at it, but it's the second game of the Six Nations, and the other 3 after this one are going to be just as important.
Thanks, Andy.
And if you look at some of the times Ireland have beat France over the last 20 years, maybe it wasn't the French team at the peak of their powers. These are the Grand Slam champions. How significant do you think a victory tomorrow, given how good France are would be for Ireland?
I think they're a fantastic team. You know, I was actually speaking to Fabien Galtier at the launch. You know, I've congratulated him on what was. It wasn't just an unbelievable year for him, was it? I mean, he couldn't have done any better. You know, going unbeaten and playing the way that they've played, and you know, I think it speaks volumes for where they're at this moment in time, and I think the coaching staff there and obviously the backroom staff and the players alike have got something really going in French rugby. French rugby in general, I think, is buzzing at this moment in time. We've all seen that. So, but I think what's been very impressive about them is the temperament. You know, they've got a plan A, B, and C, and maybe a D as well. And you know, when things have not been going their way, they've always found a way to win. Certainly over the last 12 months. So in that regard, any type of victory against a side like that is going to be a big performance.
James Ryan's going to win his 50th cap. Maybe 3 years ago, Brian O'Driscoll singled him out as a great athlete, but not necessarily somebody who imposes his game physically. How hard has he worked over the last couple of years, and have you seen what he put down his form over the last year or two? Do you think Brian's comments on hit home at any level and inspired?
Well, ask his peers. What do they think James Ryan brings? And they think he brings the physicality to our game. In fact, that's what they look up to him for. So that's
an improvement in the last 2 to
well, there's a responsibility, isn't there? Because he's a leader within our group, and James recognises that, and you know, you've certainly seen that in his last game anyway.
Andy, what was your impression of the French performance last week against Italy?
I still see the same dangers all over the park. I still see them being hard, aggressive at the breakdown. I still see them being very good as far as broken field play is concerned. I still see them being aggressive as far as the up and in defensive line speed is concerned. The set piece is still pretty strong, you know. And again, they found a way to win, didn't they? They found a way to win. So we know that after the first game, we expect ourselves to be better, and I'm sure that they will be as well. So we both know the magnitude of the game, so therefore I expect France to be at the best.
One of the most impressive aspects of their game is that Shaun Edwards came on board with their line speed. How do you counteract that tomorrow?
By playing our own game, making sure that we courageous enough to take our game towards them and ask them questions of their defence, and that's the only mindset that you can have, and that's got to be for an 80-minute performance, because to be able to break them down is pretty difficult, but we've got to believe that we can.
And you've come up tactically against your old wing teammate Shaun Edwards, and of course we now have Kevin Sinfield and Mike Forshaw. Those team of coaches from a rugby league background, what impact do you think all you guys have in coaching in rugby union?
It's a good question, you know, because there's something in the water there, isn't there? There's a theme that goes with that. So you know, you have to look deep into it to try and understand it. And I don't know. I think defensive formats in rugby league have been a must for years and years, you know. And I think rugby union going professional a little bit later than that, and you know, rugby league is probably there's a real heightened sense of awareness as far as defence is concerned. In fact, if you're a good defensive side, you're looked upon in a better light really than a good attacking side. So defence always wins games, you know. The attack is always by how much. So I think it's just the pressures that they've come through and how much it means to them that's brought it through in their own coaching, you know, and their own personalities put to that is something that's obviously helping them along in their careers as well.
Andy, in what ways do you think you've grown or improved as a team since the last time you played France?
Well, we'll see tomorrow. We certainly think we have, but again, you know, we nearly got there in Paris last year, but nearly's not quite good enough. So therefore, lessons learned. I think they're well documented as far as being ourselves and taking our game to them, etc. You know, so transferring that to the field tomorrow is obviously the aim, but the French are going to have a big say in that as well.